Greetings, PrimeMortals. David here today. We're doing a bit of a mobility and stretch session today. So I know we might be used to doing a bit more fiery things, but this session is a great way to just get you moving. Maybe you need to get up from your desk and have a bit of a stretch. Maybe you're doing something before a workout. Maybe you're doing something after a workout. This suits all those things: pre-workout, post-workout, and also anytime you just need a stretch. So we're actually going to start off with mobility work. Come up and stand with me. When we stand, we're going to just simply go through some arm circles, always doing this at the start of workouts. I lift up, and I go nice and wide. And just moving through your shoulder joint. We're not really trying to do anything absolutely spectacular. We're just going to move through 3, and then go 3 the other way. 3. It's lovely movements. Get a little bit of stretch at the chest, to reach on up. And last one. Now we're going to move through our spine, so I'm going into a bit of a roll down. I gather in, because I do my Pilates roll downs whenever I do a roll down. So I gather in and up, I take a breath in. As I exhale, I start to gently round, coming down. I'm pushing my butt back for this one, so I bend my knees, and I just love this stretchy feeling. Hands to the mat, even if you need to bend your knees quite a lot. Stay here for a little bit, and start to shift your weight forward into your toes, and then back into your heels. My feet stay on the ground the whole time. I'm just getting that lovely hamstring stretch. Also, calf stretch too. And last one. Then I'm going to bend my knees a little bit more, gather my abs in a bit, and just walk my hands up. All the way up. Let's go one more time, rolling down. Oh, one more time. Do 2 more times. All the way down. Excellent stretch. Feel free, if you want to do something that resembles ragdoll here, you can bend your knees more, do a bit of a ragdoll, or take hands to the floor and shift weight back and forth like we did last time. And when you're ready, come up nice and slow, walking hands up your legs and breathing the whole time. Just natural in and out breath. 3rd time. Down, and if you haven't done this with your eyes closed yet, I encourage you to give it a try, so you can focus deeply on what's happening in your body. That's mindfulness, isn't it? Now this time I'm going to go into kind of sort of a little bit of a twist. I'm going to take my hands to the outside of my left ankle. And I'm doing these little bobbing movements, just kind of lifting and lowering the chest. You could also leave hands on the ground and bend and extend your knees. I'm doing that now too. Getting into some of the muscles at the side of the waist, also quadratus lumborum here a little bit too, deeper inside. After you've done that a couple of times, walk to the other side. Do those little bobs where you kind of move up and down through the arms, and lift the chest, lower the chest. 2, 1, and now go through the knees, just a little bend, extend, 2, and 3. Now from here we're going to come down onto the mat. So walk forward, bring your knees down, nice and easy. Align so that your wrist and elbow and shoulder are all in one line, align, elbows point back, and we'll go into a cow stretch. So I give my belly a little bit of a lift here, and I'm focusing on pushing the heart ahead. So push the heart ahead, and I'm just letting my neck follow along. So the back of my neck should be mostly flat. I don't want any kind of kinks there. And then I'm coming through just to the round. And cow and cat. Now as you do this, feel free to add your own little bits, your bells and whistles. Maybe you add a little side bend, just like you would in your normal yoga class. Maybe you want to shift weight, do circles. Wherever you're at, push into your finger pads so the hands are quite active on the mat. And that will help to take away any sort of wrist strain if you're prone to it. And if you're not prone to it, well, hey, you're kind of developing some of these muscles in your hands, also in your arms, and that's a good thing too. Then a couple more breaths here. And last one. All right. Coming into a seated position. So now we're going to kind of step out from yoga and go into a bit of mobility work. So just taking your hands behind you, feet are on the mat, and just go over to one side and the other, a little windscreen wide. Now allow this to be as big as you want it to be. So you might feel the twist coming up between hip and armpit. Might hear a few little rakatakata pops. Enjoy it. All right, last couple of breaths. I hope this feels good for you as well. All right, so now I've done my windscreen wipes. Now I'm going to come back down onto the mat, and we'll go into some easy cobras. So first, I'm taking hands back. For me, I like having the wrist below the elbow, but since we're not doing strict vinyasa yoga, you can have your hands anywhere. You're not going to be jumping back into anything. So be comfortable here and lift into your cobra, and feel free to lift up as high as you like. If you do want to take this into more of an upward facing dog, then push into your feet and lift there as well. And come back down. And again, up, up, up. Back, back, back. Now I'm going to do some striking cobras. So I'm going to push back into my child's pose. I'll take my knees really wide for that. And take a breath in and out. And then I'm going to start coming low. So I bring the elbows down, scoop low, land the chest just for a little bit, lower part of the chest, and then lift up a little or a lot. And then just kind of take it back. And I get to circle all the way through. Sure, you can keep it quite traditionally yoga and only lift up as high as this, the feet pushing into the floor allows. Please do feel free to do that. I like to mix it up though, use a little bit more arm strength, because what we're really doing here is a spinal extension. Just after all that flexion that we did before. One more time. And then come back into your child's pose. And let's just have a couple breaths here. I'm going to cup my heels with my hands and just enjoy this quiet time. 3 breaths. That was my 3 breaths. So I'm going to start walking forward and go into a child's pose twist. So knees together, push the butt back, take a breath in, lift one arm up, exhale, feed it through. 3 breaths here too. I'm being quite soft and pliable here. I'm not really, pushing myself into a twist. I'm just kind of holding my hand into a twist, just escorting myself into it. My 3 breaths. I do a 4th one to inhale, and then I like circling my hand ahead on the exhale. Other side, lift, and relax. Up to the 3rd, inhale for the 4th, and exhale. Then you're going to shift your weight forward, knees underneath the hips, and come down for kind of a little puppy stretch, it's often called. So I take my hands, and maybe I'm just here. That's great. I'm going to keep my butt over my knees, and if I can go deeper, then I go deeper. So that might be chin or the upper part of your chest, maybe your collarbones. Please make sure you can breathe here. You can look ahead if that feels right, or have your nose on your mat if that feels better for you. Pretty big stretch. You could also do this at the wall if you need to. Just one last breath. And then come out of it. It's probably easiest just to shift your weight forward to come out of it. And then take the hands back, push yourself back. We're going to lift up into downward facing dog next. Remember, this is just the essence of the shape to get a stretch, rather than being sticklers for what yoga might tell us we need to perfect. So I'm just going to be stretching out through my calves here. And I encourage you to come along with me with this. Also feel free to do what you'd like to do here, because for me, it's calves that are the tightest in downward facing dog. Not the hamstrings, not the lower back. It is without a doubt calves. Might even stay on one side and do a few little bounces. Ooh, feel that right in the belly of the calf. Feels great. Just go. Other side. And so I did my same number of pulses each time. I did 10, but just about how many you do. And then I'm going to stay here in my downward facing dog. You know, when we want to feel safe, comfortable in this pose, the breath is full. Just one more breath. Then I'm going to come all the way back down again, just my knees. And I'm going to lie flat. This next move is a stretch you can definitely do at the wall. It's a chest stretch. So at the wall, if you're at the wall, you have your elbow at the wall and you turn away from the elbow. So feel free to do that. This stretch feels a lot more intense to me. Take it easy. You're going to be stretching one arm out, so that one arm is just stretched out, and then the opposite leg comes over. Now you might come here and think, whoa, that's enough, that's I'm done with that. Then please go to the wall to do this. Otherwise, you can take the leg over so that even the foot finds the ground. Bring your ear to the mat and smile and breathe. This is absolutely wonderful, whether you're standing, whether you're lying, to kind of get rid of those computer shoulders, I guess. This is part of it. A lot of times we obviously have our hands in front of us, typing away, looking like praying mantises, closing up our chest, front of the shoulders, feeling like they get a little stiff. Just have to stretch them out. Last breath. And let's go to the other side. Ooh, coming away really slow. I always stop and do a little bit of an arm movement first. So take that arm, reach it, and roll it around. And now the other side. Last 2 breaths. And coming away slowly. Do those arm movements before. You can bring your forehead down to the mat or your forearm. And you move that arm around. When you finish, I'm on up. And we're going into a sequence that has lunges in it as the base. Again, stretching out our hip flexors, stretching out our quads, so good with how much we sit. And we're sitting, I suppose, more and more. If you've been in quarantines and lockdowns this year, tilt the pelvis and sink on in. Feel free to pad your knee. Feel free to make adjustments as you need. My one thing that makes me feel most comfortable in this stretch is to have my knee over my ankle rather than over my toes. That doesn't feel great for me. So I want to go ahead. And then I know I'm in a real secure place. And I just get to be in this place. I can take my arm down. You can modify, adjust, and be weird and otherwise wonderful with this stretch. Feels good. Let's add a twist to it. So you're just twisting towards your knee. I can keep this one hand on the ground and just kind of turn my chest. As I turn my chest, I'm pushing into the top of my foot behind me to turn a little bit more deeply. I'm going to untwist now, and I pivot this back foot for a kickstand. We're going into a version of gate pose. Well, pretty much the standard gate. So I've got straight leg out, and I come all the way over. Oh, this feels great. And then arm overhead. And this is where you could bend the arm if you want to, let it be heavy so that we get a little bit of extra side bend here. So I'm going to try and flare those ribs up and lift the underside of my waist. And just reach it out. Wonderful lat stretch here too. All that happening through here and through some of these pectoral fibers and serratus anterior. And I could go on, but you don't need me to. Now the other side of the gate. Climb up. Again, no hurry. Slide your hand down your thigh, so we want it above or below the knee. And then reach over for the other side. It's amazing, amazing. Right through the sideways. It can feel so congested sometimes. Nice. Come on. So we're just going to go to the other side now. Turn, establish that lunge. Remember making your adjustments. One set of hip flexors could be a bit more supple than the other. And adding the twist. Remember, as you twist, you want to make sure that the top half rotates, the bottom half doesn't. So do push into this back foot a little bit. Deepens the hip flexor stretch too, doesn't it? The abdominals are lifted. And this, as for all twists. And now to the gate. Up, create that kickstand, and reach up and over. Ooh. What did you do with your arm last time? Did you let it be heavy? Did you reach it purposely? Did you get a little bit more lift? And just make sure that we are lifting and turning back so you're straight ahead rather than looking down at the ground if at all possible. Side of the gate. Remember, you might need to kind of hop in a little bit, and then come up and move. It's not a flow class. It's not a flow experience necessarily. Last breath in and out. And come up all the way. Let's have a seat. Easy stretch for your glutes. You take your left foot down, bring your right ankle on top of your left thigh. This is your figure four stretch, so flex those back toes, the ankle, dorsiflex, and then lean in. This can be done seated as well. So any of these, quite a few of these stretches can be adapted to sitting at your desk. Even the cat and cow, you could sit there and do cat and cow if you need to. But of course, getting away from your desk is one of the best points of this. So if you can get away, then get away. From here, we're going to go into a twist, so I'll turn towards you. We bring the foot to the ground, snuggle the heel in, lift, make sure both butt cheeks are down, and then an easy twist. If this doesn't suit you, straighten the bottom leg. So if you straighten the bottom leg, and there you go, we're twisting towards the leg that's in front of you. Think of spiraling up on the inhale, and twisting on the exhale, spiraling around. I'm going to change sides, but I'm going to leave my legs in the position that they're at and do an easy open twist. If you ever want to hold these stretches for longer, all you have to do is push pause. And now for the other side, so untwist. You can do a fancy untwist, or come with me the basic untwist, where I'm taking left ankle on top of right. Whew. This side feels a little more stubborn, a little less yielding. To the twist. Remember to make any adjustments, anatomical or otherwise, that you need. And twisting towards that leg in front, the closed twist. And the open twist. And releasing. Our last little stretch is a straddle stretch, a wide leg forward fold. If you prefer to do this standing, you may. You can also just do this one leg at a time if you want, but give this a shot. Sit here for just a little bit. Rotate the toes back. So we'll put some yogic principles to this. So rotating the thigh bone back, strong legs, and then take your hands behind you. See if you can lift your chest and lean it forward. And then just experience this stretch. Maybe the point isn't to go to the floor right away. Maybe stay here for just a little bit. Again, the feet will want to be dead and start to roll in. Keep them active. Keep it all rotated out. Maybe you take your hands forward, and I'm in a good place, so I'm going to stay here. If you want to keep coming forward, you can round your back with this if you have no history of back injuries. Yeah, sure, lift the belly around the back. Otherwise, try to keep the chest lifted, come forward, keep that energy cycling up and also out, and see what you feel. What new stretch? I've got lots of inner thighs today. I really feel that today. Some days, not so much. Let's have 5 breaths here. Last 2 breaths for me. And I'll take it all the way up. Give myself a little shake. Bring those in. If you have more time and you want more stretches, please rewind, do it again, or add your own stretches to the end of this. Right now, TikTok, that's all the time we have for today. So I will see you next time. Here's to wellness. Here's to being PrimeMortal. See you then. Bye.